Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of The Devil's Due. I am your host, Carl Duty. Court is now in session. With me, as always, is the man who ain't got time to bleed, Mr. Drew Celestina.
Is it sad? It's a little sad that all the great quotes that Jesse Ventura has given us over the years, especially in Predator, namely, I have a hard time now separating the art from the man.
Well, they kind of...
Because he's a real loon, dude.
Yeah, all the great quotes, you could probably just sum it up in two movies, Predator and Running Man.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I did that one because this week actually marks the 20th anniversary of Predator.
20?
20. No, 30.
30,
yeah, 30.
Sir.
30.
Gonna say, wait a minute. It's immortal?
It really is. It's a great movie that holds up to this day.
Absolutely does. And well, I don't want to call it a remake. Whatever the next one is.
I have confidence. It's done by Shane Black, the dude who was the actor in the original one. And Shane Black delivers, most times out, you can count on quality from Shane Black.
He's a good director, but, just because he was in Predator doesn't mean he can direct Predator. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, folks, we are here again today. We had to change up our schedule a little bit for this week, possibly for exciting opportunity for the show. We'll see how that develops.
Potential. We'll see. No guarantees.
Yes, we are actually doing this old school. We used to record the show on Friday night, and then it would post the next Wednesday. We decided to change things up to make the show as current as possible. We switched to recording on Tuesday nights, but here we are on Friday night, and there's a good reason for it. Drew, what's the reason that we're recording on Friday night?
It's game night?
Well, that is always a good reason to gather for the gaming of the boards. But we're not recording on Tuesday because you have an event you're going to.
I do have an event I'm going to. I'm sorry. Yeah, I misconstrued your question. So as you may or may not know, if you listen to the show for any length of time, I hope you know, something of a beer guy, way into craft beer and have been for a long time.
Hey,
so don't judge me too harshly based on, the stereotypical craft beer hipster with his, twirly mustache and V-neck shirt and whatnot. That whole thing came around after I'd already been well invested into the whole thing. And
although I would not besmirch you, the curly mustache. I think you could pull that off.
Talk to me.
Whether or not you're physically capable of growing it,
yeah,
that's a different. But should you be able to, you'd be able to pull it off.
Wait till November, and you'll see if it's possible or not. Anyway, so I've been a big beer aficionado for many years. Arguably, no, factually, before I was even legally able to drink. Yes. But we don't discuss that. Anyway, so my favorite brewery by a mile is a brewery called Stone, and they are out of San Diego, California.
Yep.
And I love the beer that they make. I love their facilities in California. They are second to none, and I've been to a lot of breweries, and none of them can touch the quality of facilities that Stone has in terms of their bistro, their restaurants. Magical, like beautiful, stunning. Beers are great. Facilities are great. Their ethos really lines up with me. And the co-founder of Stone Brewing, Mr. Greg Cook, will be at Coulter Bay here in Buffalo on Tuesday. This is a very big deal for me. Stone's they're kind in the craft brewing world. They are kind of a big deal. They're a big deal. I'm just going to put that out there. They're a big deal. And Greg is a kind of a magnetic figure. And a guy that I really admire and look up to, and it comes down to philosophy and ethos and all that. He's kind of my spirit animal. So this dude's coming to Buffalo, and he's going to be at Coulter Bay on Tuesday. I will be there. I am going straight from work, and I'll be attending the whole evening. So I'm very excited about that. That's what's happening on our normal recording day. So we had to kind of adjust the schedule accordingly.
And you are going to try and snag an interview with him for our show here.
I will try.
We'll try. Be bold, sir.
Greg's a busy guy.
Saw what happens when you take bold steps.
I have seen. So we'll see if I can muster some of your mojo and make that happen.
Alrighty. So it's been 2-3 days. Yeah. Two full days since
last we met.
Since last we met and we recorded. So how was your 2 days?
It's been fun, actually, because it seems to me, anyway, casually observing our Facebook page, because you take care of all the social stuff.
Yes.
So I'm just kind of seeing notifications here and there, and I don't get too bogged down. But it seems to me that we have ourselves some new fans and new listeners, and that's exciting to me. So I would just like to say to them, welcome aboard, and we hope you enjoy the show.
And thank you for giving us a shot.
Absolutely.
The podcast world is a heavily populated world. There's a lot out there to choose from.
It's saturated, sir.
And Lord knows, our past couple episodes, they've been a time commitment.
Yeah.
So, but we definitely appreciate you giving the show a shot.
I can't complain. I listen to a 3-hour podcast every week.
Yeah.
So,
I've got probably between 10 and 15 podcasts I listen to throughout the week.
Yeah, I listen to many, but there's one show in particular that is a regular 3-hour plus every week. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Nice.
So, we're not going to ask that kind of time for you regularly, if ever. But the past couple, we've been in that 2-hour mark.
So, yeah. We're going to work on keeping it a little tighter for you.
We'll pare it down a touch. So, not a lot's going on in the last couple days. I've done a little bit of shrine hunting in Zelda. I'm upgrading some of my armor sets.
It's still no closer to beating.
No, not really.
It's like I said on your Facebook page. The people of Hyrule cried out to Drew, "Save us." Drew looked down and whispered to them, "No."
I replied, not no, just eventually. I will save Hyrule eventually.
Yep.
In the meantime, this armor ain't gonna upgrade itself. I gotta, like Batman. I have prep time. I'm using my prep time to face off with Ganon.
Alrighty.
So yeah, that's really all that's really gone on. Had a band practice. We got a show coming up next weekend. At the Rockin' Buffalo Saloon on Saturday the 17th. So if you all want to come out to that, I'd appreciate it. That'd be great. We're going to be discounting some merchandise and trying to clear the decks a little bit. And that's really it. That's what's up. And here we are at game night. So bring it on, man. How about you? How was your last couple days?
Last couple days have been fun. Been getting in some time with Tekken 7 and really enjoying it. Getting a feel for the game. Again, it's been a long time since I played a Tekken game. Have managed to get some online matches in. It's interesting because you can kind of... I wouldn't say online in any fighting game is ideal for training. You always want like in-person, person versus person.
Sure.
But you can kind of gauge where your skill level is at from online. And I was going through my first couple matches and I was winning. I was feeling good. And then I ran up against someone who showed me how far I've yet to go still.
So you're still the proverbial wad of cookie dough?
Pretty much.
In Fight Club parlance?
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, but it's a lot of fun getting used to it, using Jin. Probably going to pick up King.
Okay.
Because I know how much you love the Rainmaker, even though it's just a glorified clothesline.
It's a lariat, sir, and there is a difference.
It's a glorified clothesline.
The lariat used to be a finisher before WWF made it into a common move. Kind of like the DDT used to be Jake the Snake's finisher, and now it's just another move. Don't blame Okada and his awesome Rainmaker for years of other people ruining the business.
Fair enough. And also more X-Wing. So actually got a couple tournaments coming up I'm going to take a shot at.
Look at you. stepping into the tournament ranks.
Yeah, tweaking squads and just kind of finding what works, learning the. I'm more comfortable with the meta, but I'm still learning it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Are you anticipating a successful tournament performance, or?
Well, for first couple tournaments, I would be happy to get out of like the first or second round.
Okay.
I mean, there's a world of difference. I think in any sort of, whether it's fighting games or something like this type of game, where there's a difference between casual matches and competition matches.
Sure.
So casual matches, like I've been going to Collectors Inn on Thursday nights, and it's a great group of guys there. They're really friendly, really helpful and everything. Those are casual matches. Competition matches, that's going to be a different story. Like if I forget to do an action or something like that, they're not going to point it out to me because that doesn't help them.
No, exactly. That makes sense.
So,
in a competition or in a tournament or whatever, do you bring your own ships?
Yes. You bring your own squad.
So you have, it's kind of like your own proverbial deck in a way. Like
yes.
You know your squad.
Yes.
And you're going up against someone else's squad.
Yep. And
how do you know if you're comparably matched?
Is
it a gamble?
It's not so much a gamble as it is checks and balances.
Okay.
There is, like I mentioned, there is a meta to the game where there are certain things that you will see common in tournaments. Like right now, the pilot Biggs is very prominent in tournaments because of his pilot skill. He forces you to target him if he's within certain range. So if you fly Biggs and then you put R2-D2 on him, and R2-D2 gives you back a shield if you perform a certain maneuver, so then you've got one ship that has to be targeted and two other ships that can so Biggs is basically there as a damage sponge, and then you've got two other ships, preferably two other ships that can do your fighting for you.
Okay.
So it's like when you start building squads, you kind of approach from the philosophy of, okay, like I start out, how many ships can I get in here? Then I learned it's kind of quality over quantity.
Yeah, it makes you want to pair them well. And,
ideal is 3 ships.
3? Okay, yeah. Wow. All right.
So you have 100 points to work with, and I've got two squads that I'm kind of meandering back and forth between using for the tournament. One is an Imperial squad, 2 TIE fighters, and a Decimator. And the TIE fighters are there basically just to kind of feed the Decimator. Feed him additional actions, increases attack power, things like that. And then I've got another squad that's a Rebel squad with the Millennium Falcon on Solo. So I've only flown that one once, and I'm still kind of tinkering with it. So we'll see what happens. But I am not regretting at all getting involved in this game. It's incredibly fun.
All right.
And just building the squads is half the fun. Playing the game's awesome, but once you get an understanding of the deeper game and learning kind of what works with what best, and gaining their saying of sometimes it's good to have a ship that isn't necessarily an attack powerhouse. That's kind of more out there for support. That's a lot of fun. It's really cool.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's been pretty much my week. Crying it out with William, still going great. He barely fusses now when we put him down
to
bed. So, whew.
Hello, sleep.
Hello, sleep. It's
been a while.
It's been some time. More so for Julie than for me. She's been she is the true champion of our household. She does so much more on a daily basis, and I don't say that I appreciate it nearly as much as I should publicly, but yeah, so she's happy for the sleep.
Good.
Sleep.
All right.
So yeah. All right, folks. If you want to tell us about your week, if you want to ask us some questions, if you want to make some comments on the show, we'd love to hear from you. You can find us at the following social media outlets. On Twitter, you can follow us at Devils Do Pod. You can go to Facebook.com/Devils Do Pod. you can email us at thedevilsdupod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on thedevilsdupodcast.com, our website. Actually got some suggestions on the website this week.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm all ears, and I'll try and make them happen if I think they're worth my time and effort.
I was waiting for that. I was like, there's Drew.
It's a time and effort thing, man. This is not a paying enterprise, so I got to balance it out with everything else going on. So
Yeah. So since it's only been about 2 full days since we last recorded, not a lot of news really has happened.
Not a ton.
Tonight, during the Game 4 of the NBA Finals, they are going to premiere the first teaser trailer for Black Panther. So we may, depending on how the night goes, we may jump back on the microphones and give you a quick reaction to that.
See the poster?
I did see the poster.
What'd you think of the poster?
I like it.
I like it in concept.
Yeah.
In execution, it looks fake.
Yeah, the presentation is a bit off.
Go on.
Oh.
Okay.
If there's one universal problem I have with pretty much every superhero film where the superhero wears something to cover their face.
Yes, I was waiting for that to.
Is FaceTime. Actors got to get their face out there.
They sure do.
You know what? Ironically enough, the DC movies are the least offenders of this, because when you think about it, they don't have much of an opportunity to offend. Superman, Wonder Woman don't wear a mask. Batman's been really good about keeping the mask on.
Yeah.
But like even going back to the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans.
Oh, every opportunity he had to take the mask off, he would take the mask off. It drove me nuts too.
Secret identity.
Yeah.
Secret.
Yeah.
To conceal a truth. Secret.
Break it down. Yeah, but you know what though?
And I can see already it's been a problem in Iron Man. It's been a problem. It sure as heckfire has been a problem in Captain America.
Heckfire.
Language.
Wow, we got Ned Ryerson over here.
No. I sure as heckfire remember you.
Oh my God.
It's definitely been a problem in Captain America. I can see already it's going to be a problem in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Maybe.
New shots have been released.
It's fine. That's for every shot of him without it.
It's not fine. You have a secret identity. Keep the damn mask on.
Language. Yes, I agree with you in sentiment, but Hollywood loves to. The actors got it. I'm sure their agents have it contractually written that their face must be exposed X percentage of time in the film, and definitely X percentage of time on however many posters there are. It must be this much. Their face must be shown in this much, percentage of the overall surface area of the poster.
I don't mind the posters as much, even though I think movie posters is kind of a lost art form.
Oh yeah, they're all just kind of slipshod, slapdash together nowadays.
Although, and we have credited the films as being good in the past. The Star Wars posters are still. It's not.
The Force Awakens was a little The Last Jedi poster is legit.
The Rogue One poster as well. I like
which
montages.
One?
I like.
I miss the painted ones myself.
Yes.
That's the lost art.
They could definitely go back to those. But no, the posters I don't mind. It's in the actual film itself, because we're not talking. They're not in costume for the entire film,
right?
Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I know. Like, you're gonna get your FaceTime, Steve. Put your cap helmet back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You're in combat. Put the helmet on.
Yeah, I feel you. Totally.
So, yeah.
It's okay.
So, yeah.
Deep breaths. It'll
Black
be fine.
Panther, it's probably going to be awesome. Can't wait for it.
But when they do show Black Panther with the mask on, like in Civil War...
Oh, he looks fantastic.
He looks awesome.
He looks awesome.
Yeah. He's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what that trailer looks like.
Yep.
I have not been following the production of. I try to stay pretty much as spoiler free as I can nowadays, so I don't really follow like, oh my god, did you see the new behind the scenes picture? I really don't.
You do a couple trailers and then you're good.
Right. Show me a little bit. If I trust it and it looks cool in the trailer, you've got me. I'll go check it out.
Yeah.
So I really don't know what the whole aesthetic of Black Panther is going to look like on screen. So I'm actually very curious to see what do we got? What's Wakanda look like? And we're going deeper into this world. What is it? So yeah, pretty stoked.
Sweet.
Could be. Should be.
Yep. Next week is probably be much more news filled because this weekend is E3.
Oh. Yeah, we'll be talking. We will be talking. In case you don't know, on this show, we indulge our passions. We have many, gaming being pretty big between both of us, actually, both video games and board games. But yeah, video game Christmas is coming up within the next week. The E3 conference is where all the big companies show off all their big plans for the year. Although some plans get pushed out a little further than a year, but in general, it's just a big look at me show for the industry.
It seems in recent years the big three, Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, have kind of pulled back a little from E3. Like, not really done the big blockbuster announcements at E3, but done them at their own press conferences, either before or afterwards.
Well, I mean, Sony and Microsoft still do the big E3 bonanza. Nintendo for the last few years has not. They still do. They're still there. They have floor space and they have hands-on demos of whatever it is they're bringing to the show. But they don't do the big stage show anymore because they've basically owned. They kind of pioneered and now really stick to the Nintendo Direct concept, where they just do a Nintendo Direct presentation every few months, actually. Spotlighting a certain game or library, and they do a special one for E3. So they get their own message out there. There's going to be a date and a time during the conference where they're going to air it, and immediately following their presentation, which is pre-recorded and everything, it's not live on a stage, the floor is open. Here's everything we talked about in the video, in the presentation, and here's our floor space. Go play the games. Yeah. No stage fluff. But at the same time, part of E3, at least as a fan, because it's not a fan event really, it's a press event technically. But fans have it's
open to the public this year, so I think it was last year too.
So that's a big change. It used to be just strictly for press, but fans want video game fans are rabid. We want anything we can get. So fans follow this stuff with a passion. So part of the thing that I kind of miss about Nintendo backing away, but Sony and Microsoft still do it, and it still gets fun, is like the really awkward awfulness of some of these presentations.
Yeah.
Like when it gets really, when jokes don't quite land, and they send out this guy that's supposed to be like the hype man, and the crowd is just dead for it, and he's got to be up there squirming. I kind of like that.
Like see people fail.
Well, companies especially.
Yeah. Well, no, I know that Sony does. They do PlayStation Experience. So they do like E3, and then I think they do 2 different PlayStation Experiences at different points throughout the year. I'm pretty sure one is in December. Okay. To kind of hype the year coming up. And then I think another one's a halfway point between December and E3. So yeah, that'll be fun.
Predictions?
Well, you have the big 3 are in 3 distinctly different places.
Yeah.
Right now in their console lives. You have Sony, which is currently has a commanding lead
in the home console space,
In the home console space. So they're just kind of in let's maintain mode.
And to be frank, that's really all they have to do. But I would not like to see them coast.
Yeah, you definitely want to see good stuff. You have Nintendo, which is okay. We have this great new console out there.
Yep.
We need to get more units out there, but we need to give people a reason to buy the units. So I think unlike past years, we're going to see a little bit more from Nintendo this year, just to kind of get the hype train going a little quicker to give the people a reason to buy Switch beyond Zelda.
Hey, man.
I'm not knocking Zelda. I'm just saying right now, if you are not a huge Zelda fan, you really don't have a reason to buy a Switch.
No, but if you're not a huge Zelda fan, play Breath of the Wild and you will become a huge Zelda fan.
And then you've got Microsoft, who's kind of huddled in the corner, crying in the puddle of their own urine, begging people to buy their console.
Well, we talked about this.
They're going to announce whatever Scorpio is.
And let me so Microsoft's in the position that Sony was in with the PS3. They had big success with the previous console.
Yep.
And they got cocky.
Oh, yeah.
They got real cocky. I still remember those Sony conferences, and I never hated a company more than when I had to watch them spout their crap about the PS3 and what a revolution it would be, and how you would have to earn it, and you couldn't just go out and buy one because it was so above your you poor people. It's so far above you that you have to work 2 jobs to get one, and you'll thank us for it. I remember all that, and I never hated a company more. And then Microsoft comes around, and they're like, "Yeah,
you're gonna have first. It's $100 cheap. It's it's $300.
Well, I'm kind of getting this up to date. Yeah. So Microsoft, had the huge success with 360, and then comes time for the One, and you're looking at a system with a $100 price tag higher than the PS4.
Yep.
The Kinect included. No one cares. Or it was going to be mandated. Well, at first though, it was going to be mandated as part of the package. We can't it's part of the deal. We can't take it away. So get used to it. We don't want it, dude. So okay. And so $100 more mandated with this thing. For $100 more, the system in terms of power isn't even as good as the PS4.
No.
And then that whole game had to be connected to the internet, mandatory install. You couldn't share games with friends and all that stuff.
Yep.
Oh God, Sony ate their lunch on that so hard. And that was it. There was no winning at that point.
That was 2 years ago now.
Yep.
That year, Sony simply could have come out and said, it's $100 cheaper.
I think it was 3 years ago.
It's this powerful. Don't have to be connected to the internet. You can share games.
That was
folks.
It. Yeah,
that's all they had to do.
That's all they did. I remember the day of E3, and Sony put out that video like, here's how you share a game with PlayStation 4. And the one guy hands his game to the other guy, and they smile. It was like, oh my God, you just set fire to Microsoft's whole thing before they even got their foot out the door.
Yep.
And that's where Microsoft's at right now.
Yeah, Microsoft is in serious catch-up mode. They're going to announce Scorpio. I'm not...
Who is it for? What is it for?
I don't know. I'm really worried that gaming consoles are going to start to be like cell phones.
Every 2 years, you got to get a little refresh?
Yep.
Well, I hate to be I'm going to throw Nintendo under the bus. Listen to me. I'm going to throw Nintendo under the bus here.
Okay.
Mark this down on your calendar.
The ones that started
the day
it
Drew
the
did this. Not the Wii U. No, God, no. The Game Boy, the DS line, the 3DS line.
I have a question for you.
They're notorious for Nintendo is notorious for incremental hardware upgrades, and I hate it every time. It's like, dude, let me ride this out. You just put this thing out. I don't want to upgrade. I just bought this 2 years ago. Now home console, but those are portables, so you accept a little bit of. I don't want to say accept, but it's existed there. Home consoles now, we can't even get a 5-year shelf life anymore. You're going to tell me you're going to put out a new version every 2 years? Oh my God!
Well,
no.
I think that's going to backfire on them because people are going to you'll have some people who have to get every single one. But if I know this is the way it's going to go now, I'm going to wait.
Yeah,
I'm not going to get the first one.
Yeah. So let me ask you this then.
Although
on that note,
I will say, Sony has a special limited edition PS4 out right now, 1 terabyte, and it's gold.
Oh,
I was like, that's kind of sweet looking. If I had the disposable income, I might get that.
I'll remember to ask you to ask me what you were going to ask me. But before I do that, so the Scorpio thing, we don't know what it's going to be or whatever.
Yeah.
But Sony's already got the PS4 Pro.
Yep.
I already feel like the waters are getting muddy. I don't know I'm sure there are benefits to the Pro. I'm sure there are. There has to be.
Yeah, but better looking games, but not night and day. The people who I've spoken to who have either or, if they got the initial PS4, they didn't feel the need to upgrade.
Okay.
The people who waited were just like, okay, I'll just get the Pro.
Okay.
So I think you're going to find a lot of that. If this is where the market is headed, you're going to have it's like with cell phones. Like with my phone, because I'm an iPhone user, I would go like the S cycle.
Sure.
I would get, like, my first iPhone was the 3G.
Okay.
And then they came out with the 4. I didn't get the 4.
But then, like, they did the 4S
4G,
or whatever.
The 4S.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So, yeah, I would wait for the slightly better model. And if video game systems go that way, as long as
you don't get left behind.
Yeah, as long as you don't get left behind. Like, if I decide to buy into the first model and I spend like 2 years building up a library for that, as long as I can use everything from that library on the new model, I'm fine. If that's the way you want to do it.
That's my fear, though.
I don't think they're that stupid.
I hope not. It's not necessarily a matter of the new one supports your back library. I think that's always going to be the case. My fear is, this new game's coming out, and sorry, early adopter, but you can't play it on your base model.
Yeah,
that is a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll do that because a perfect example, Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Horizon came out. I've got a PlayStation 4 standard. I've got Horizon. I play Horizon. It looks great. They're like, you can play on PlayStation 4. If you play it on PlayStation Pro, it's going to look a lot prettier, but the gameplay experience is going to be the same.
Then I don't need it. But as long as there's that.
I don't really have a desire to get a PlayStation Pro for the following 2 reasons. 1, I don't have a 4K television.
Okay.
And 2, I don't care about virtual reality.
Then I'm with you. I'm with you. So flipping back around, you wanted to ask me.
Yes. I heard actually on a podcast I listened to today, Video Game Apocalypse, which I would highly recommend for you to listen to. It's really good.
Okay.
That Nintendo said that going forward, it's just the Switch. They're not developing any more DSs after the one they've got coming out now.
Oh, I've not heard that at all.
Okay. All right. I was just curious.
Now,
I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah. Here's the thing: the 3DS, it's still it's a Goliath. Like, the 3DS line is their most successful. It's arguably the most successful thing ever. Well, the 3DS is probably second to it. Actually, I don't even know this. I don't know the figures, but it's very successful. A lot of games out there, a lot of systems out there. It is at an age though where it's like might be time to wind it down.
I don't see the sense in continuing to develop not necessarily software for it or functionality for it, but putting the resources behind developing another successor to the DS when you have the Switch and you're making this big bold statement that the Switch is portable.
It's portable, but it's still considered a home console. And this is not me, I'm not defending Nintendo's position here, so don't accuse me of being the fanboy that I am. I have no I'm just going to try to explain Nintendo logic.
I never accuse you, sir. I simply let your words speak for themselves.
I don't care. Whatever. I don't care. I know the games I like. The thing is, though, it's portable, but it's not as conveniently sized and portable as a 3DS. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a dedicated portable, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't shock me where they might say, like, okay, here's the new 4DS or whatever you want to call it, like the next successor to their true portable line. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. Not this year. I don't expect them to come out at E3 and say that. But
they've got the 2DX.
Right,
the
2DS XL.
Square root of 4.
2DS XL. It's very simple. So it's basically a non-3D capable 2DS or 3DS.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I don't need it. It's antiquated, but it's another model that they can get out there and get people's hands. This thing's still selling. It's 3DS probably has another 2 to 3 years left in it, I think. Honestly. Okay. And after that, all bets are off. I really don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But the Switch is the Switch. People seem to really like it. The library might be limited, but the users that have them are really into it. Not just and it's not a matter of just like the games. It's a matter of the potential of the system and the using of it. It's like, this is it's all here. Just give me the games.
Yeah, and we've talked about that before about how I'm excited for the potential of the system. That's it, because right now, currently, I have no reason to buy a Switch. I liked the system. I think it's going to be really cool about a year or so from now.
Sure.
But I've got no reason to
pony up the $300
money now.
Yeah, I feel you.
Just
no,
for
totally.
Like I could say, yeah, I could get Mario Kart 8, but I could go out and get that from my Wii U if I wanted to.
Not deluxe, but yes.
Ultra Street Fighter 2.
Great game, but you have it for other systems. Yeah, that's fine.
So many versions. So I'm excited for.
Let's see what E3 brings.
I'm excited for what Nintendo is going to try and do to seduce me.
If I know them, they'll find a way.
Yeah.
I got a feeling this Mario Odyssey game is going to blow minds.
It's Nintendo, it's Mario, it's guaranteed fun. The two things I'm looking forward to at E3 are the new Sony Spider-Man game. Costume looks terrible, but the game itself looks...
that costume.
The little bit they've showed, the game itself looks incredible.
All right.
That and the new Star Wars Battlefront.
I know you're a Battlefront guy, so...
The first gameplay trailer is coming out tomorrow, actually.
All right.
So, cool times. All right, well, that went much longer than we anticipated for not having any news, but we love fun conversations.
Little E3 hype never hurt anybody.
Exactly. So now that we're done with the case, we kind of launched into the case files before we did cross-examination.
It's okay.
We do have a question for cross-examination sent in by Mr. Adam Malone.
He's my bass player and my friend.
Wealthy young man about town. Renaissance man.
# country living. You know where to find him.
So his question is, he says, question for the show. Was Drax the character, Drax the Destroyer, seen in comics and Guardians of the Galaxy, was Drax the character created before or after the name appeared in Ian Fleming's Moonraker as a villain? Published in 1955, Sir Hugo Drax. Who created the character of Drax the Destroyer and what year?
Well, Carl.
Do we know if the character was Bond fan? I know we had our crack researchers on this one.
The Wikipedia search, in other words. Well, I'll tell you this. Drax the Destroyer in Marvel did not come out until 1973. He appeared in Iron Man number 55. He was created by Mike Friedrich and Jim Starlin. Jim Starlin, who basically is like the godfather of all things cosmic Marvel, basically.
Yeah. We do have a piece of news. Just thought.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know that he was a Bond fan, but it's possible. Bond was a big deal for, since his inception, basically. Yeah. So it's very possible that was there.
Yep.
Especially since if Moonraker... Well, although I think, if I'm not mistaken, the plot of the book of Moonraker is vastly different than that of the movie, which was Bond sci-fi schlock. I don't think that the book was that way. Adam would know because he's read all the Bond books.
I also have a Bond expert I can consult with, my financial advisor, Paul.
There you go. But, yeah, so Drax the Destroyer, much created far after the Bond villain.
Yes, created before Marvel Comics.
Marvel Comics proper. Yeah. They were still timely timely.
So, yeah, so thank you very much,
for the question.
Adam. Appreciate it. Folks, we'd love to hear from you. Send us your questions or comments. Quick, I just remembered news. Marvel Studios made an announcement this week.
Did they?
That they are giving James Gunn the reins to the entire cosmic sphere of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay.
And everyone said amen.
James Gunn made the deal to get Ego back.
He did.
And Marvel had to...
And I was talking about this with a coworker today, that this is exciting news.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see more of the cosmic side of Marvel beyond Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But without the Silver Surfer,
Galactus, hold on.
There's a big hole there.
There is a great big hole there. And
I wonder... Galactus bite-size hole.
I wonder if Mr. Gunn can work his magic and bring back to us.
Would you be okay if he got back Silver Surfer and Galactus, but not the Fantastic Four?
It's a start. It would help. The Avengers need... I'm just going to say it. The Avengers don't have too many, world-threatening villains.
Yeah.
Thanos
is coming out.
That's it. I mean, outside of, the Avengers
Loki.
villains. Yeah, Loki. But we've seen Loki.
Yeah.
The Avengers, though, historically have fought Doom.
Yep.
They have fought Galactus.
Yep.
A lot of their villain, entanglements were with the Fantastic Four. So if you get Galactus back and the Surfer, suddenly, things get a little more interesting. So
I would love to see a Silver Surfer movie. Like, just straight up origin of the Silver Surfer, Nornrod.
Could he carry a full movie? That's the question.
I think he could.
Could he?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Because you'd have you'd have his origin story. Galactus comes to Shambhala, I believe is
Shalabal.
Galactus comes to Shalabal. He makes the deal with Galactus. And then you just kind of come into a montage of, you show a passage of time. Montage of him serving Galactus.
Sure.
I think the only obstacle you run into then is how do you get him to turn away from Galactus, because the Fantastic Four were
Yeah. James Gunn,
he can do it.
work the magic. We need the Fantastic Four back. We need all of it back. We need it back. Come on.
They can fix it. They fixed everything.
I hope so. So if he has the cosmic side, does that mean like the Russo brothers have the Avengers side of it?
I hope so.
Okay.
If the past two Cap films are any indication,
yeah. Well, they're doing Infinity War.
They're doing the next two Avengers chapters. Okay, we're jumping around a lot this episode, but we're giving you good stuff. We are going to do some reviews right now. We love the character of Daredevil, not only in his Netflix form, but also in his original comic form. We've fallen, I know I've said this before, we've fallen a little behind with our comic reviews. I apologize for that. It always seems that something big happens the same week a Daredevil comic comes out that sucks up a lot of the show time. We kind of have to trim the fat a bit, even though you wouldn't be able to tell from our last couple episode run times. But we're definitely going to catch up today. We have Daredevil issue 20, which is the culmination of the story arc in which we learn how Daredevil regains his secret identity. Written by Charles Soule and art by friend of the show, Mr. Ron Garney.
We can say that.
We can say that. And now we have in Daredevil 21 the beginning of a new story arc. So, starting with Daredevil 20, where we left Matt last was the Purple Kids. He had defeated the Purple Man.
Yep.
Purple Kids want to do something nice for him.
Yes, they did. Now, we kind of predicted where this was going to go.
Yes.
And spoilers, it went exactly as we anticipated.
But that's
not exactly.
And also that's not to say it was bad.
No.
Like, sometimes you know how to get to a place, but you still really enjoy the ride.
Yes. So the Purple Kids use the the Purple Man's power amplifier, right? And they are more powerful when they are together already.
Yes.
So they use this power amplifier to make basically the world forget that Matt is Daredevil.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing.
They didn't discriminate.
No, and that's what I never see as a reader. I didn't, for whatever reason, that never occurred to me. So now the world, in the comic book that we've been reading, they've kept it kind of mysterious. Matt has left San Francisco. He's back in New York. His girlfriend, Kirsten McDuffie, he's not with her anymore. Yep. We don't elaborate on and we don't really elaborate on that. Foggy, also back in San Francisco. We don't really elaborate on that.
Matt's a prosecutor in DA's office, which he's
never been before.
Been.
Yeah.
He's always been a defense lawyer.
So things are different. Status quo was different. And up to the past 19 issues, we didn't give that, I don't want to say we didn't give it too much thought, but for whatever reason, I didn't give it that much thought.
Yeah.
So in issue 20, when the world forgets, he goes to see Kirsten.
He goes to see Foggy first.
Was it Foggy or Kirsten first? Either way. Okay. And they don't know who he is. Ew. He's in costume.
Yeah.
And they don't know who he is.
Yeah, no, you're right. He did go see Kirsten first.
Right. He shows up in costume, and he's trying to be... he's acting like she knows
in costume,
right? And she has no idea that it's Matt. And then when I read that, I was like, oh,
That's really good because he's got a decision to make there in the moment.
Yes, he does,
which he doesn't make because he kind of goes to find Foggy,
Right.
And with Foggy, he makes the decision right away. He takes his mask off. Now, when Matt reveals himself, everything that Foggy has forgotten comes back to him.
Because that's the way the Purple Man kind of trip works.
Yeah.
You still know what you know, but the way it works, they have been instructed, if you will, that they don't remember that Matt is Daredevil. So in their memory, they just don't put it together. But Matt makes it, once Matt reveals it, Foggy's memories basically are restored. He's fixed, basically.
And Foggy is not happy about that at all.
No, but their relationship is always one where it's always tumultuous.
Friends, but with friction, and not only in the comics, but we see that again in this week's episode of Daredevil, which we're going to get to.
Yep.
So Matt makes the decision then not to reveal himself and to go back to New York.
Yep. Leaves Kirsten, leaves San Francisco, goes back to New York. And because no one remembers who he is, he gets reinstated as a lawyer.
Yeah.
He's no longer disbarred in New York.
Yep.
And becomes the prosecutor. And then he goes to, the DA?
The DA.
And he basically says, I have a plan
to wipe out all the organized crime in New York City.
And that's how we end issue 20.
Yes.
I have a plan, as Matt Murdock, lawyer, to wipe out crime in New York City.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Issue 21.
I think it might be reaching a bit, Matt, but we got faith
he's known
in you.
to do that.
We'll see where you go.
So,
issue 21 is still by Charles Soule. The art, you got the issue right there. Who's the art by?
We have this issue's art is done by Goran Sudzuka. And I hope I'm saying that right. It's a little harder than Soul. Sorry.
Seems to be a trend with the Daredevil contributors.
Well,
So yeah, this issue picks up
new story arc. This
new
is
story arc, part 1.
Supreme Part 1.
Yes. Matt is on a stakeout, and
Emilio Estevez and Richard Dreyfuss are not to be found.
There was a sequel to that, wasn't there?
Another stakeout.
Wow, they didn't. So there was stakeout.
Then there was another stakeout.
Another stakeout. If memory serves.
Then
Rosie
there's Jim's
O'Donnell
stakeout.
Was in Jim's stakeout.
Did I just make you hungry?
Sub sounds really good right about now.
Well, we have to discuss dinner after this, so
I might have to grab on the way home.
Make a little run.
Yeah. And then there was 48 Hours.
Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy, right?
Another 48 Hours.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, Matt's on a stakeout. I do not recognize any of these criminals. Are they?
Nor I.
Okay, so.
Nor I.
Yeah, they're criminals. They're higher tier criminals, but not like super name criminals.
They're not super villains or anything.
Yeah.
Well, they are super villains, but they're not like, A-listers.
They're top tier henchmen.
Sure. They're henchmen with names.
They're not Bob the Goon.
Well, even Bob had a name.
Yeah. They're not like they would do in the old Batman television series.
Number one,
T-shirts with Goon A.
Yes,
Goon
correct.
B.
Now, these guys have individual names, and they're packing some heavy artillery. And as we find out, Matt and Spider-Man have gotten some information on a weapons deal from the Black Cat.
From the issue. Well, they stole it from the Black Cat. Interesting side note. I really enjoy what they've done with Black Cat.
What have they done with her?
You know how she was kind of like she started out as kind of a version of
you could say Catwoman. Yeah, okay.
And
Black Cat? No, I never would have guessed that.
And then she kind of became a good guy.
Yes.
Well, during Superior Spider-Man, when Doc Ock was behind the wheel of Peter's body,
yes,
he beat the crap out of her.
That's not cool.
Tossed her to the cops, and she lost everything. Everything she's ever stolen, everything. And she just flipped. And she's full on, like, crime boss now.
Oh.
And just, like, kind of really, no pun intended, getting her claws into everything. So she's, like, a legitimate villain that they're doing really well.
Okay.
So when Peter's told her, like, listen, it wasn't me, it was this. And she's like,
it was the one-armed man.
I don't care. It wasn't me.
It was the 8-armed man in this case.
Man.
6, actually. But anyway.
So, yeah. So if you're curious about that, you can check that out in current issues of Amazing Spider-Man.
So they get information on these guys, and Matt busts in, but he is not alone. We got Luke Cage, everybody.
Luke Cage. Next week, Defenders #1 comes out.
Okay, with this lineup.
Yeah,
by Bendis
with the Netflix lineup.
Okay.
Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist.
Well, folks, if you can, if you're like me and you actually want to see Iron Fist's costume, Defenders #1 is coming out.
Although the current version isn't all that great.
It's
the tracksuit.
You know what it's better than? Nothing.
Yep.
Which is what they have in the show.
Agreed.
Just putting that out there.
No, I got you. You're right.
Okay, so now we could get some flashback scenes. Matt's with the DA, kind of, getting approval to do this little whatever. He's up to something. He's going to bust these guys, and the DA knows that Matt is friends with Daredevil, and we get a little weird insight into the Marvel legal system, where Spider-Man and the Vigilantes are not legal, but the law seems to understand their need because there's, for every one of them, there's a supervillain.
Checks and balances.
Yep. Interesting little take there.
I really like the way Charles Soule structures a story.
With kind of revealing...
Not
non-linear kind of?
Yeah, he's good with a reveal.
Yeah.
And especially at the last page of this issue, because we are given no clue as to what Matt's grand plan is. And for the most part, the issue's kind of standard comic book superhero fare. It doesn't, there's a fight that happens and Echo shows up. And for some reason, Daredevil can't touch the criminals.
Right. Legally, he can't touch them.
Legally, he can't touch criminals. And we don't know why, because apparently it's part of his big plan. But even in that, there's not a lot that kind of gets your pulse racing in this issue up until the end.
Right. So these guys get busted, and Matt, they're going to build a case around the one that... Basically, there's 4 of these guys. 3 of them get away, but 1 does not.
Yeah.
So they're going to build a case on this guy. They're going to bring him into court. And this is where Matt's big plan gets put into motion and where we get set up on a cliffhanger. Okay. So the last page, who was on the stand ready to testify?
The couple of pages leading up to that, they're swearing someone in.
Right.
They're in the court, they're swearing someone in, and you think it's going to be the criminal that they caught.
Right. No.
But it's not.
No. It's Daredevil.
It's Daredevil.
And for some reason, he's in his classic costume.
I know you're a little miffed about that.
Well, hang on.
Which baffles me.
I want to clarify this.
Because you wanted him back in the classic costume.
I do, and I'm happy to see it here. My question is, why?
Okay.
But then there's, you pointed out, to be continued. I have to...
obviously.
Yeah.
But that gets you excited for the next issue.
Sure does.
That last panel.
And there's a cover for number 22. Look at that. He's in the classic costume. All right.
Here's the explanation I can offer for Daredevil appearing in the classic Reds.
Go on.
You're probably not going to like it, but this is the explanation.
But what? Okay.
Cast your mind back to Civil War.
Yeah.
At the time,
try to forget it, but go on.
Peter was wearing the Stark suit, the Iron Spider costume. Remember the orange and red one?
I thought he got that after the unmasking.
Mm-mm. Got it before.
Are you sure about that? The disingenuous look I just got. Oh my god. Okay.
So
I thought Stark gave it to him after he agreed to reveal himself, but okay.
Yeah. So he shows up at the press conference in his classic costume, and they make a point of saying, "This is how people know me."
Okay. All right. We'll see.
That's how people know him.
Okay, if that's all it is, that's kind of lame sauce. But I mean,
it works. It gets him back in the Reds. We wanted him back in the Reds.
I want him back in the Reds anyway.
I didn't mind the black suit as much as you did.
I just don't like the tape. That's all.
I know.
It's not practical.
So yeah, I'm definitely excited for the next issue and excited to see where this story is going to
go. Daredevil, my favorite character. It's one of my. I'm going to be really honest, man. One of my very few Marvel pulls right now that I read regularly.
Yep.
Top of my read pile every week is not Marvel or DC. It's all my creator-owned stuff. Nothing much else holds my interest anymore. But Daredevil and, to a lesser extent, The Punisher. To a much lesser extent nowadays.
Yeah, I dropped
Yeah,
Punisher.
you're probably a good girl. Daredevil, though, always will be there for me.
Did you get the new Darth Vader #1?
No, I'm
Charles Soule, dude.
I know.
You liked the last series.
I love the last series. He did not write that one, though.
Well, I'm saying he is writing this one, and we like his work.
I know. I'm kind of making a conscious effort to step back a little bit from some of my Star Wars and Marvel, and I'm culling the herd a little bit.
Are you you're still reading the main book though?
Main Star Wars, yeah, which has been good.
Still enjoyable,
pretty good. I will miss that first Vader book though.
Well, you can read mine when I'm done with it.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm not doing like the there's all the miniseries like the Poe Dameron.
Yeah, I don't do all
I can't handle all of that.
Yeah, too much.
Even Dr. Aphra has her own book now. It's like, yeah, I like her as a guest star.
I don't mind that they're doing like a 4 or 5 issue miniseries pop. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
If I hear good things about it, I may look into trade, but
just give the evil droids a book. I'll buy that
God,
one.
yes, please.
I will buy that book.
Yes, please. Put them in Last Jedi, please.
Oh man,
can we have them show up in Last Jedi?
I have a feeling they're not going to make it into the trilogy, or into. Well, they're in the trilogy technically because aren't they? Isn't the Vader book? It took place after Episode 4.
Well, the Marvel stuff's all canon.
It is canon. So,
yes.
But I'm saying so it was kind of after Episode 4 where those guys were around.
Yeah,
and then we never really see them again. Well, obviously we never saw them in the movies. I guess they could show up, although there'll be a hell of a time gap between their appearances in these comics and then the current.
They're droids.
They are droids.
Really age.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. So.
All right. Fair enough.
All right. Well, we've done Daredevil in paper, and now I believe it's time to rustle some papers.
Ooh.
Oh, that reminds me. You know how you miss the old Marvel Studios Flasher intro?
Yeah.
DC has one now.
I saw it online.
It's pretty good. I like it.
Question about it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So, in that little montage, Superman,
Yeah.
Batman,
Yep.
Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
Flash,
Yeah.
Aquaman,
Cyborg.
Cyborg.
Green Lantern.
Aha! Why is he there?
He
He ain't in the movie, son.
They're planning, air finger quotes, for 2020 a Green Lantern Corps movie.
Are they going to hope that everyone forgot about Ryan Reynolds by then?
I think so.
Okay.
I think legitimately, if the best case scenario plays out and DC totally turns it around in their films, then it will have been almost either a little before or a little after 10 years since. Because when you ask people what they think of when you ask about Ryan Reynolds now, they think of Deadpool.
True, but
I think the stench of Green Lantern has worn off.
Let's hope so.
We have new stenches from DC.
Oh, yeah. He's probably like, you thought I was bad. You see Batman versus Superman? Oh, my God. Okay, that's fair. I was just curious because he's not there, but there he is.
I'm okay with that because Green Lantern is he's easily my second favorite DC character behind. Actually, you know what? If I really sat down and did like a top 5 list of DC characters, yeah, Batman'd still probably be number 1. Batman would be number 1. Green Lantern would be number 2. Shazam would be number 3. And then 4 or 5, I just, Actually, you know what? I mentioned this to a friend of mine earlier, and then I promise, folks, we'll get into the episode. If DC/Warner Brothers was really smart, really smart,
it's a big if.
One movie that they would get in production really quick, and you know what? You can say yes, it takes place in the DC cinematic universe, but you don't have to worry about really tying it into the big ones yet. What character would work so well in today's world the real world that we live in, the climate that we live in, the modern age we live in, with everything that's going on in like technology, big corporations, politics, all that stuff, governmental relationships, what character would be so perfect to do right now?
Booster Gold.
I'm asking you a question.
Oh, I see what you did. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
He would work so well.
I think you brought this up to me, and I'm not saying it wouldn't work, but I feel like he's been overshadowed by his darker, grimmer, already in the movies, Alan Moore inspired counterpart.
Yeah,
that being Rorschach.
But Rorschach was in one movie.
Yeah, but that movie cast a long shadow.
Also coming up on 10 years old. For us, yes, it cast long shadow. General public,
you'd be surprised.
Average
that movie,
moviegoer.
You'd be surprised.
No.
It's on TV a lot. People know. People are aware of it, man.
I'm not besmirching it by any means. I love that movie, but I'm saying, do the question.
They're not going to do the question.
I know they're not going to.
Let me go ahead and just stop you right there.
Yeah, I know. Okay,
Booster Gold though.
Be a nice comedy.
Yeah, sure.
Do Booster Gold and Blue Beetle movie.
I'm in. Dude, Ted Cord, man, all day. Yeah. Let's go.
Sans bullet through the skull. Ted Cord.
Yeah.
Although
did he get better with the new?
Got better.
Okay, good.
So,
comics, everybody.
Yeah. All right, episode 10. To quote Alice in Chains, "There's a man in the box."
Wow. All right. Yes. Okay. Get this out of the way right now.
Okay.
As you keep saying, this show, right when you think it's the best, just keeps getting a little bit better. So on the surface, this episode is, we're filling some plot points, moving things along, but it has one of the best scenes in the series in this episode.
Ninja grappling gun?
Well, that too.
I'm assuming you're talking
we're gonna
about...
get to it.
Cut.
You want to cut to the chase here?
We can cut right to it. Matt visits Fisk?
Yes! Yes!
Go ahead, sir.
Dude. D'Onofrio. In this scene.
D'Onofrio in any scene he's in.
I know. But, he plays the Kingpin in a certain way all the time. Very... almost like reserved to a fault. Not to a fault, but like... you could just tell this guy is holding something back at all times, kind of, And Matt knows that he was behind Frank getting out of jail. He denies it, and he's giving lip service because he doesn't want to spend more time in jail being accused of breaking another prisoner out. And then once Fisk's lawyer turns off that tape, and Matt decides to prod him a little more about Vanessa.
Yeah.
You see the animal out of the cage.
Because up until he snaps the cuffs, you think Matt has control of the situation.
Right. Well...
And then the moment he snaps the cuffs, you realize Matt had no control of that situation from the moment he walked in the building.
Well, I kind of figured that to begin with, but I didn't, once the cuffs are off, though... we already have established in the last episode that Fisk has this prison under his thumb.
Yeah. Guards,
prisoners, everything. So the illusion of him with the cuffs on is like, okay, well, he's going through the motions for Matt. But I still, knowing Fisk, you'd never take your eye off him and never underestimate him. But so Matt's prodding him about Vanessa, and Matt thinks like, I got you. I got you. Oh, Matt. Oh, Matt. No, sir.
So he bounces Matt's head off a steel table a couple times.
Yeah.
And then tells him, when I get out, it's not just you that's going to suffer.
Right.
It's everyone.
Yeah. And he names Foggy legal
Proper
name. Franklin Percy Nelson.
Yeah. And then at that point, Matt dissolves into a blubbering, begging...
He doesn't beg, but he knows he's in trouble.
Yeah. Because he knows Fisk is going to get out.
Yep.
It's just a matter of time.
And he knows that he's building his power in prison. And yeah, it's only a matter of time till he gets out and unleashes that power.
Yeah. And not only that, we see later in the episode, Fisk is thinking.
Oh, of course he is.
And he asks to get the file on Murdoch.
Yeah.
He wants to re-examine it.
Mm-hmm. He also already
the
knows.
fist on his chin is somewhat recognizable.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, well,
which I think is kind of is a. I'm not crazy about that. It's kind of like a lamer version of the Kiss and Batman Returns when they figure out who each other are.
I don't know if that was the specific trigger. I think he had suspicions before that when he had him. He had to. Had to.
How did Fisk find out in the comics?
If I'm not mistaken, that information was brought to him because Karen. Can I spoil Born Again for everyone who hasn't read it yet? Well, I'm about to.
Oh yeah.
Karen's in a low spot, and she sells out Matt's secret identity. That's as
Matt
much as I can.
Yep.
Tell you without spoiling too much about the comics, folks. Read Born Again.
Oh,
by the way.
Yes. Yeah, we'll review that in one of our in-between.
Not for nothing. Given the gravity of this scene with Fisk and the things he says to Matt,
very Born Again.
Season 3 is going to be Born Again, dude. I'm gonna go ahead and just put that on the table. I think season 3 is going to be Born Again, or at least some approximation of it.
I hope so. With Bullseye, I really love to see Bullseye. In
Can we? I want to talk about that so badly because there's something coming up in this series that we can't talk about yet because it's not happened yet. But
we'll get there. Go ahead.
Is it a spoiler to know what happens to Elektra at this point?
No.
Okay.
No, because, folks, all right, we'll do this. Folks, if you haven't watched the full season 2 of Daredevil, and you are not versed in the comic books, spoilers ahead. Come back to this episode after you finish the season.
All right.
So spoilers in 4, 3, 2, 1.
She dies.
Yes.
She dies in the last episode.
Yes.
But
not the way she dies
in the comics. And not for nothing, that does kind of bother me. Because it's getting further into spoiler territory. We can't talk about too much. But bottom line, Daredevil, see, in the show, Daredevil and Fisk, in the comics too, arch enemies.
It's so much more deeper than that in the comics.
But in the comics, it's deeper. And not only that, there's other villains in the comics that Matt is arch nemesis with.
Yeah.
The main one being Bullseye.
Yeah. It's Fisk, and Fisk is 1, Bullseye is 1A.
Exactly. So not having him here to kill Elektra is a bummer.
Yeah, it is a bummer. Especially, as much as I hate to admit it, it's one of the things that the movie did better than the series.
I will say it.
Because the movie, they took it right off the page.
We're going to talk about the Affleck movie. We're probably going to do a full thing on it at some point. It's the nature of our show. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think we should do it. And I will say it, and I'll say it again and again about the movie. It's not the best movie. It's flawed as hell.
Yep.
But
they did some things right.
Its heart really, its heart was in the right place. It really was.
Yeah.
They tried to really distill Daredevil's big moments from his whole existence to that point into the movie.
Yeah.
And that's admirable. Yep. Not necessarily wise, but admirable.
No, I mean, the movie has definitely high points and low points.
Yeah. And the whole death thing, it was right off the page.
Yeah.
The sequencing, the playing card to the throat.
The angle
everything.
Of the camera.
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, in the comic, that panel is slightly askewed, and they did that in the film, too.
Yeah. Yep. Everything. In the dialogue. You're good, but me, I'm magic. All of it. And we're not going to get that here.
Yeah.
So even if they introduced their Bullseye in season 3, we're missing that visceral grudge that Matt would have with him.
I mean, if you've seen the Defenders trailer, you know Elektra's coming back.
Yeah, right.
But
Spoilers.
Okay, if you bring Bullseye in season 3, which I hope they do, and then kill Elektra all over again, it doesn't have the same impact.
Right.
Like, I kind of see what they did with killing Elektra the way they did in this season, because it's the same thing they did with Ben Urich.
Yeah.
They did it more for the people who know the comics than the people who don't know the comics.
Right.
To give you an element of surprise, to give you a sense that none of the characters you think are safe to an extent are not necessarily safe to an extent.
Yeah. But, I would really have preferred Bullseye have been involved. They didn't even have to necessarily, like, name him. But if he would have shown up in the last episode or something as, like, the Hand's hired goon, I don't know. I can't make it. Yeah. But just have him there to do the deed. If he was
the French assassin,
okay,
in the airport,
sure.
Which French assassin, term in and of itself, is an oxymoron.
Hey,
I'm joking.
Leave the French alone.
Yeah, then that's, you want to do it there. That's one thing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm conflicted.
Yeah,
because I love Bullseye. I love Matt. Matt and Bullseye. That's like.
It's a conflict of riches, though, because the comics are great, the show's great.
We're swimming in Daredevil greatness right now.
Yeah.
So it's hard to, like, be really mad about this, but I would have really liked that moment to be done in the show.
No, I'm not going to fault you for that. But yeah, that was definitely the scene of this episode.
Fisk. Oh, dude. D'Onofrio.
I
so good, dude.
I love the affidavit that Matt has to sign before walking in there. I'm like, why even bothering walking in? There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So, but Matt, that's what I like about Matt, is that he's determined and he's skilled, but he's not as calculated.
No.
He doesn't. For someone who is determined and as skilled as he is, you could take a little lesson from Batman and maybe think 3 or 4 steps ahead.
But this is why I love Daredevil. He screws up.
Yeah, no,
and that's okay. Like, he's for all the superhuman abilities he has, he is human.
Yeah,
painfully so. And that's why I like him. That's why he's my boy.
So now I think to the second best part of the episode, the ninja grappling gun.
Well, that happens later.
Because it's just a great visual.
Oh, of course.
How they do it. Like,
yeah.
You get the sound of the grappling gun being fired and hooking onto the roof. And then after that, the actual hand ninjas going upside the building, there's no sound. It's just beautiful.
They're quiet.
They're ninjas.
They're the ninja. Vanish.
Yes.
The hand. Well, we should talk about that. They're going after all of the people that Matt broke out of the farm from the last episode, the blood farm. And Claire reveals to Matt that their blood was drained and other stuff was pumped into them as well.
Toxicology reports cannot identify.
Right, and it's kind of like it's still in their system, and they suspect that it's being incubated in these people for something.
So not only do we have hand ninjas, we also have hand zombie kids.
I have hand zombies written here, and they kill
zombie kids,
and they kill someone.
Yeah, Danny kills his father.
Yeah,
not Danny Rand.
He's not Danny, and he's also not Danny from Ninja Turtles. Then see Ninja Turtles, Danny.
Give us a little Splinter.
Daredevil.
Give us a little Splinter.
Have you nowhere to go to, Danny? No parents.
This is your family. I am your father.
Oh, I can't do Shredder. I can only do Splinter. So Matt hooked up that hospital gig with Claire.
Yeah,
he wants them kept off the radar. He doesn't want anyone to know that they're there because whoever they were being held captive by, they will come looking for them and they will kill anyone involved. Hey, Matt. Way to put him on Claire's watch.
Exactly. We have an instance, once again, of Matt.
Oy.
I mean, Matt claims to care about Claire, but he's putting her right into the firing range here.
He does ask her, though, would you ever fuse? And she said no.
But that's Matt being calculating, but not looking that third and fourth step ahead, because he's like, okay, Claire can take care of him. Oh, wait. The danger that the hand presents is becoming more and more evident to Matt. He has an understanding now, especially having encountered Nobu again.
Yeah.
Of how much he doesn't understand about the hand and how dangerous they are.
But he at least knew that they would come looking and willing to kill, and he still sent them to Claire.
Yeah. I'm not crazy about that.
But again, she does kind of say that she would not have turned him down no matter what.
Yeah.
She is a kindred spirit. She's on the mission like Matt is ultimately, and I do like that about the character that they've given her, and I like how she shows up and all this stuff. She does have a purpose. She is kind of the glue of all the Defender shows, and it's not baseless.
Yep.
Claire is selfless, and she's a hero in her own right.
Yep.
So we got hand ninjas showing up at the hospital, but there's someone else at the hospital, and for a reason.
Foggy got
clipped. He's at the hospital too, and he got clipped because Frank is out. Reyes calls in Matt, Karen, and Foggy to their office.
We get a little Nelson and Murdoch reunion at City Hall.
Oh, things are awkward.
Yeah, so awkward.
So Reyes, the DA, assistant DA, whatever she is.
No, she's DA.
Okay. She comes clean to them about the whole botched job, the botched sting that got Frank's family killed in Central Park.
She made the decision not to clear the park.
Right. And right when she's spilling her guts, she spills her guts.
Bang, 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 bang.
Machine gun fire. She's dead. Foggy gets hit. Now, here's the thing.
When you first saw this,
yes.
Did you think it was Frank?
No.
Yeah.
Here's why. A DA, even for Frank,
I think Frank would do it if the DA was a legitimate criminal.
Yes.
Then if you're in Frank's, you gotta remember Frank's way of thinking. Once again, to quote the Dolph Lundgren movie, if you're guilty, you're dead. So,
and she's
I'm
guilty, air quoting guilty here. He wouldn't. I don't think he would kill her for that, even if it was his family, because her guilt is kind of a technicality.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do that. And not to mention, we also know Frank is tactical. Now, granted, he didn't show it that well in that scene in the hospital earlier this season when he shows up with the shotgun. But
not known for being a precision weapon.
Right. But at his word, though, he says if he told Karen, if I wanted you dead, you'd be dead. You were not in danger. So seeing the bullets fly askew, killing Reyes, yeah, sure, but you also clipped Foggy, who was innocent.
Yep.
Frank wouldn't do that. He's not going to.
The shooter is targeting indiscriminately.
Right. That's not Frank's style.
Yeah.
Frank's very precise. Again, despite visual evidence in the show.
Yeah.
And that's doubled down later on. When they go to Karen and the reporter, the guy from the Bulletin, takes her. They go see the medical examiner, who, spoilers, is also dead now. He's been shot and killed. His apartment's all shot up, too. And it's a disaster. There's bullets. And granted, he's the only victim. No one else was shot. But just the pattern of gunfire was totally spastic. Again, not Frank's style, especially for one guy in an apartment building. Frank would find a much cleaner way to end that guy if he wanted to. And Karen sees it right away and calls it out and says, this wasn't him. Now, granted, she's being emotional because she has kind of a personal tie to Frank.
Yeah.
And I keep forgetting his name, but the head of the Bulletin.
I'm actually looking that up right now because I really like his character from season 1 to season 2 has really grown on me.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't like him, but it's a really...
Well, his character's growing. He's kind of taken, not for nothing, he's kind of taking on the role of Ben.
He really is, because he's become as protective as Ben was in the first season.
Yeah. Not
only because, he sees possibly a vulnerability to Karen, but because of what he feels guilt of over what happened to Ben.
Sure.
Because he just doesn't want to have that happen again. The character's name... Where are you, dude?
But he cautions her, don't let your emotions get in the way of the facts.
And he sends 2 cops with her, too, to go back to her apartment.
And she goes back to her apartment, and those 2 cops wait outside while she, gets ready or whatever. And thump, thump, some fisticuffs outside the door. Karen hears this. And who should be outside the door? It's Frank! Hands up. She pulls a gun. Is that the same gun? By the way, is that her gun that she took from Wesley?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
Okay. All right, just checking.
The character's name is Ellison.
Ellison. Okay.
Yes, played by Jeffrey Cantor.
I thought his name was not Paul Giamatti.
Actually, like, you see that dude without his beard?
He's definitely not Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
With the beard, though, he's not Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Certainly not J. Jonah Jameson.
No.
Which he should be.
Different paper, man.
Ben Urich.
It's a rival paper.
Ben Urich worked at the Daily Bugle.
Maybe he bounced around. Maybe freelanced a little bit.
Nah.
Yeah, just throwing it out there. So Frank shows up, and like we the viewer thought, he says, "It wasn't me." And Karen, she believes him. And then right when she's like, on the fence, because she's got a gun on him, click click, gunfire. They have now taken a shot at Karen. So whoever it is, they're trying to hit everyone involved in the mob hit.
Yeah. Because it's clear now, like, once you realize that it's not Frank, the blacksmith is starting to gain a lot of traction in this episode.
Yeah, the whole blacksmith name drop last episode comes into play here. Because he wasn't apparently, he was this big bad that was supposed to be the guy in between all the mob factions or whatever at Central Park. He never showed to that meet. And that's when everything went bad and Frank's family got killed.
Yeah.
So someone's taken all these people out. Frank's escaped. Wasn't him. Matt's got to fight some ninjas. Next episode.
Yep.
There we are.
Let's not forget that.
Let's not forget Elektra.
Let's not forget Elektra, who apparently is flying United.
You're a few weeks late, but that's still good.
It's still
good.
Still works.
Question about that.
Yep.
I don't know, because I'm just a layman, if you will, blue collar kind of guy. I fly coach. Do all these private jet airports have like a full stacked bar?
I haven't know, like a bar in a hangar,
right?
Maybe
with a good selection too.
Wouldn't surprise me. Well, if you're gonna have bar in a hangar, it's top shelf only, sir.
I guess your clientele demands it.
Come on,
just checking. I'm just checking. So she's flirting with that guy, but spoilers: that guy was there to kill her.
Yes,
and then double spoilers. They're fighting. As soon as he pulled out the size, I was like, "Oh, dude, no,
no,
you don't understand how this works.
You just sealed your own fate.
You don't come at Elektra with size, dude. That's her gimmick. You don't do that.
I lost the sigh.
Thank you for that.
But I can get it back.
Let it go.
I don't have someone's shoulder to punch.
It's good movie. I want to watch that again. I haven't seen that in years.
I watched it, I think maybe 2 years or so ago.
Does it hold up?
Because Ellis Koteas, who played Casey Jones on Chicago PD,
he was on season 2 of The Killing.
He's
great,
freaking awesome. On
he's a great actor.
PD. I wanted to show it to Julie, and it's still holds up.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay, good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
As a kid, it was weird, man, because you like the cartoon, so like when I saw the movie, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
As an adult, having read those comics,
yeah, you're like,
it's so good.
Yeah.
Well, in my memory.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
So, the second Michael Bay movie came on streaming services.
What's that? Oh, the Turtles.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
The Shadows.
I've heard it's if you like the cartoon, I've heard it's actually kind of enjoyable.
I watched it, and you know what? I went into it saying, okay, they're trying to do the cartoon. And there are moments in that film where it is just insane, crazy, fun. Like moments when you have the Ninja Turtles fighting Bebop and Rocksteady, who in this Bebop and Rocksteady are off the screen, off the small screen on a big screen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like if you are so inclined, it's got the Technodrome in it. And
wow.
Krang. And he's in the suit. And
does he talk like Krang? Like from the cartoon?
No, it's Brad Garrett voicing him.
Oh. I miss like
but like there's still it wasn't nearly as horrible as the first one.
It was filmed in Buffalo, parts of it.
There was a chase scene where they have the turtle van.
Yeah.
Full blown like cartoon turtle van shooting sewer holes.
Right out like the toy did.
Or sewer lids, sewer caps.
Yeah.
Right out of the front of it. what they do with the Turtles van makes sense because it's a converted garbage truck.
Okay.
So seeing as the Turtles are freaking 10 feet tall in
See,
this,
that's the thing.
it still takes me out of it.
Yeah.
It's still like, it's not necessarily their appearance, like putting them in clothes and whatnot.
I don't like that either.
If you just shrink them down.
Make them normal sized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're so inclined, it's worth a free view on the streaming service. That's about it, though.
If I've got a couple hours in an afternoon with absolutely nothing to do,
Yeah.
I'll consider it.
Because Casey Jones is terrible.
But Stephen Amell, dude.
Was a good cast.
Yeah.
If I was going to, because I watch Arrow, I'm like, if you told me that Stephen Amell was going to play Casey Jones in a Ninja Turtles movie, I'd be like, yes, that's a really solid cast.
Yeah.
The script didn't do him any favors.
Okay. See, we can talk about this on this show because Daredevil and the Ninja Turtles have the same origin.
Yes.
See?
Why is there no big crossover? Okay.
We got to get on that.
We got to do it. All right, folks, thank you so much again for joining us. We appreciate it. If you would like to send us any questions, comments, or suggestions to the show, you can find us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to Facebook.com/Devils Do Pod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can go to our website and find all these materials at thedevilsdopodcast.com. We definitely appreciate all of you who have been sharing our new episode postings.
Yes, thank you.
Please continue to do so. Please continue to get the word out about the show. We appreciate it. We're picking up traction slowly but surely, and we're very, very appreciative of all of you who kind of come to us and are willing to give us some time out of your day to listen to two grumpy old geeks ramble about...
Who are you calling old, man?
Stuff.
Bite your tongue, sir.
I'm calling myself old. You're the grumpy. I'm the old.
I am grumpy. I am
You
definitely
are
grumpy.
exceedingly grumpy. If the day ever comes where we run on Netflix shows and we have to rebrand this show, I think we'll need to rebrand it like the grumpy and the old, grumpy old geeks. Alrighty. Any last words? Any last thoughts, sir? Before we drop.
No,
the gavel?
I'm good, man. Thanks to everybody, and don't call me old.
All right, folks. Court's adjourned.